Hello YouTubers. In this video we're going to be replacing my lower control arms on my 2007 Chevrolet Silverado LT. The issue that I'm experiencing, I've already replaced the upper control arms and that did not fix my problem. So today is the lower control arms and they're very expensive. We'll go over the parts in just a moment and prices, but today is going to be the lower control arms. And I hope it only takes one day. We will see. So the problem that I'm experiencing, like I said in the lower control arm video, is as I go over speed bumps or come in and out my driveway, I feel something vibrating in here. You can just feel it, like there's stuff shifting and something's not right. So it's got to be the ball joints. I started with the uppers because they're super easy. That didn't fix it. So now we're on to the lowers. Real quick, let me splice this into the video. This is after the fact. So one of the things I wanted to mention about this and about tools in general is this guy here was the most used tool I had. I used this to help hold the suspension in place. I helped it lower it down gradually when I needed it to lower down gradually. I used it to bring it back up when I needed to bring the suspension back up to get the parts to join back together. If you don't have a floor jack, I probably wouldn't start this job without it. It's a necessary tool. Borrow one or rent one or get one. And as it relates to tools as well, I used an assortment of tools and breaker bars. This is an extendable breaker bar. Very necessary for all of this. I used an assortment. Your truck may be different. You may not have the original A-arms, control arms on your truck, and so therefore these tools may not, the sizes may be different. I will say I used 1/2-inch sockets for everything. I spent my time in that drawer and with that device. So here's our lower control arms. Duralast Gold again. I struggled with this decision, but the fact that it's greasable and it's an upgrade over factory, but it's not a lifted version, I felt comfortable with it. Okay, so I think the first thing I want to do is to loosen this bolt here. This is a 24 millimeter and it holds the knuckle to the control arm. And now I want to take this out, this sway bar end link, and that's a 15. Most sway bars are different depending on what you have. I think mine are 15s on either side. Okay, the next thing I want to do is to get these out. This is a 17 millimeter top and bottom. So, okay, the next thing I want to do is loosen these bolts here, if not remove them. And these are 18s on the inside, on the bolt side, and 24 on the nut side. So once you remove those nuts, what I failed to mention is all I did was take a hammer and knock the bolt back to the left here, and both bolts go the same direction. Hammer them to the left and pull out the control arm. The control arm, all I did was to remove it, ultimately, was to take a pry bar or a big screwdriver and just wedge it in between the control arm and the body there. And you should be able to just pry down and it should just drop on the ground. What I was going to do, but all I did was take a pry bar and pull it down and it fell out. So what you're looking at here is the area where the knuckle and the control arm meet. And this is one of those things in retrospect I wish I would have come out the night before. So I'm suggesting you do this and apply PB Blaster to this area if you're going to do this job. At least a couple of times, come out, PB Blaster the area, and it should make for when you go to hammer the knuckle to drop it, to loosen the control arm, it should make for an easier process. In order to get the ball joint out, the lower one, I put the jack back underneath it, I put the bolt down at the bottom, and I'm jacking up on the bolt and I'm hammering right here. And we'll continue to do so until it finally breaks loose. But now, let me lift it off of the knuckle. Lift this off the knuckle and we'll put in a new one. So here's the old one out. Nothing left of that. 300,000 miles, did its job. All right, so we're about to go into two different endings here. The first ending is going to be a standard installation with your pickup truck. If you have two-wheel drive and you just got no lifting block, which this truck does have a lifting block, so that's going to be ending number 2. So if you just have a regular truck, continue watching. If you have a lifted or a lifting block installed on your truck, then that's going to be in a future chapter. Just look down below on the video, you'll see chapters. Just scroll to the chapter that says alternate ending lifting block, and that's where we'll pick up with that one. As you may have noticed, I run a lifting block on here to try to level the truck out, in addition to these 5100s adjustable height struts that I have. Now, what I need to do is, because this control arm wants to go back into place without the lifting block. Let's get the new parts in and okay, I'm just got it setting here for now, just to get it somewhat lined up. So let me work on one side and get them both in. All I'm going to do is put my bolt back in through this side and through this side, and we'll go from there. Okay, the bolts are in. Now let's get the top side underneath this knuckle. The top goes in right here. Okay, the bolts are in. They torque to 130 foot-pounds, and they are nice and snug. I've got the sway bar loose here, and I've got the sway bar end links back in because I need to do the other side and I need some play in the sway bar. And then that's it. Control arm in, lower control arm in. So here's the alternate ending. What you first have to do is to make sure you do not connect up your strut bolts to the control arm. That's obvious because we got to insert the lifting block. The next thing you want to do is to loosen, if not remove, the upper control arm at the knuckle. At least loosen the bolt as far as you can get it and drop the suspension down from breaking it free from the upper control arm and the knuckle side. What that's going to do is, as you drop the suspension down, it's going to give you some room. The strut will remain in place where it always was. You'll insert your lifting block and you will jack the control arm, lower control arm back up and insert your bolts and continue, insert your bolts on the strut and then continue jacking it up until it meets the upper control arm and reattach that bolt. So that's the trick. That's how you have to do it. So the truck is complete. Everything's back together. Just got it back from getting it aligned and I just washed it. Everything is in. Looking good on this old truck. 300,000 miles. 300 more to go. So far, I can't give you an opinion on these upper and lower control arms because they're brand new. I've only driven it to the alignment shop and back, and that's it as far as it's gone. So I'll probably put something down in the comments later when I had some seat time in the truck. But one pleasant surprise, the truck's pitch from front to back is up in the front, which is good. I like it with a little rake. For those of you back in the 80s, I had a Dodge Daytona Turbo Z and it had a severe rake, and I had that under panel air fence, they called it an air fence, installed on it, and I like the rake going from front to back with the top a little bit up. That looks pretty good. It might settle down later, but for right now it looks good. Anyway, YouTubers, if you like the video,